In the heart of New York City, on a cold December day in 1910, a young woman stepped onto a bustling street and was never seen again. Her name was Dorothy Arnold. She was just 25 years old, the daughter of a wealthy and powerful family, an aspiring writer with her whole life ahead of her. But in one single moment, she walked into the crowd and dissolved into thin air. This is the story of her disappearance, a mystery that has haunted America for over a century, a story with no answers, no body, and no closure. This is the chilling true story of the woman who vanished in plain sight. The year is 1910. New York is a city of dreams and shadows, a metropolis teeming with life, ambition, and danger, lurking just beneath its gilded surface. Raised in a luxurious mansion on East 79th Street, she was a Vassar graduate, fluent in several languages, and had dreams of becoming a writer. But her family, particularly her stern father, Francis Arnold, a wealthy perfume importer, disapproved of her literary ambitions. She left the family home around 11 o'clock, carrying $50 in cash, a considerable sum at the time. Witnesses saw her there. Then she met a friend on the street, a woman named Gladys King. They chatted for a few minutes. Dorothy mentioned she was planning to take a walk through Central Park before heading home. She waved goodbye to her friend, turned a corner, and vanished. That was the last confirmed sighting of Dorothy Arnold. When Dorothy didn't return for dinner, her family grew concerned. But they didn't panic. Not yet. She was a grown woman, after all. But as the night wore on, a deep sense of dread settled over the Arnold mansion. The next morning, her father began making quiet inquiries, calling Dorothy's friends, hoping for a simple explanation. But no one had seen her. No one knew anything. This brings us to the first shocking fact of this case. Her family tried to hide her disappearance. The Arnolds were part of New York's high society, the elite 400. To them, public scandal was a fate worse than death. The idea of their daughter's name splashed across newspaper headlines was unthinkable. So, instead of immediately calling the police, Francis Arnold made a fateful decision to handle it themselves. He hired the famous Pinkerton detective agency, instructing them to conduct a secret investigation. For 6 long weeks, as the trail grew colder with every passing day, the Arnolds kept Dorothy's disappearance a complete secret from the public and, most importantly, from the authorities. They valued their reputation more than they valued time. As the Pinkerton detectives came up empty, Francis Arnold's desperation grew. He even sent a man to Europe, chasing a faint rumor that Dorothy might have eloped with an older man she knew. Nothing. Finally, with no other options left, On January 25, 1911, full 6 weeks after she vanished, the family went to the police. The news exploded. The disappearance of the beautiful, wealthy heiress became an overnight sensation. Newspapers across the country ran her photo, asking the public for any information. The story was everywhere. This leads to the second chilling truth. Despite one of the largest manhunts in New York history, there was no body and no crime scene. The police launched a massive investigation. They dragged the reservoirs in Central Park. They searched every hospital, every morgue, and every sanitarium in the tri-state area. They followed up on thousands of tips, from alleged sightings in Boston to supposed letters from Dorothy in San Francisco. Every lead turned into a dead end. The box of chocolates she bought was never found. The dress she was going to buy was never purchased. It was as if the very ground had opened up and swallowed her whole. There was not a single shred of physical evidence to suggest what had happened to her. No struggle, no ransom note, no trace. With no evidence, speculation ran wild. And this is the third haunting aspect of the case. The dark theories that emerged. The police and the public alike tried to piece together a narrative, any narrative, that could explain the impossible. The first theory was suicide. Dorothy's literary aspirations had been repeatedly crushed by her family. Just before she disappeared, she had received yet another rejection letter for a short story she had written. Her family claimed she was happy, but was she secretly depressed, driven to take her own life in a way that would spare her family the shame? If so, where was her body? Her father fiercely rejected this idea, stating that Dorothy was the last person in the world to consider such an act. Had a doctor, fearing ruin, disposed of her body to cover up the crime? The family denied this vehemently, insisting on their daughter's purity. Abduction was another possibility. Was she kidnapped for ransom? It seemed unlikely. The Arnolds were wealthy, yet no ransom note ever arrived. Was it a crime of opportunity, a random, violent act on a busy street? But again, the lack of any witnesses on bustling Fifth Avenue made this hard to believe. Perhaps the most tantalizing theory was that Dorothy simply ran away, unhappy with her restrictive life and her family's disapproval of her writing. Maybe she orchestrated her own disappearance to start a new life. She had some money with her, and she was an intelligent, resourceful woman. Could she have boarded a ship to Europe under a false name, to live freely as the writer she always wanted to be? Her family even received a postcard signed Dorothy from Florence, Italy. But the handwriting didn't match. For years, her father clung to the hope that she was alive somewhere, living another life. But as time went on, even that hope began to fade. This brings us to the fourth shocking fact. A mysterious man and a secret life. During their investigation, the Pinkertons uncovered something the family had tried to keep hidden. Dorothy was in a secret relationship with a man named George Griscom Jr. He was in his 40s, a family friend, and Dorothy had fallen for him. They had been secretly corresponding and even spent a week together in Boston, chaperoned by her mother, though her father knew nothing of it. When questioned in Italy, where he was living with his family, Griscom admitted to the relationship. He showed investigators letters from Dorothy, which he described as gossipy, but containing nothing to suggest she was in distress. He claimed he had no intention of marrying her. He had even received a strange letter from her just before her disappearance, saying, "All I can see ahead is a long road with no turning." On his deathbed in 1922, he made a final, heartbreaking statement in his will. "I am satisfied that she is not alive." He had given up hope. Her mother passed away 6 years later. Her disappearance marks a turning point in American history. She wasn't lost in a dark alley or a deserted forest.